All right, the NFL season kicks off tonight between the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, as they take on the Houston Texans. You know, the start of the season is usually a highly anticipated event, and especially this year since we've seen so many sports get suspended due to COVID-19. But with players expected to take a knee during the national anthem in protest of racial injustice, will the league receive backlash, and will fans actually tune in? Well, let's ask our company editor-in-chief of the National Memo, Joe Conason, and we welcome back former spokesperson and policy advisor of Florida's former governor, Jeb Bush, Justin Safey. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, so there's been quite a bit of controversy. The president has got in it as well, which isn't too big of a surprise. He tweeted recently, people are tired of watching the highly political NBA basketball. Ratings are way down and they won't be coming back. I hope football and baseball are watching and learning, because the same thing will be happening to them. Stand tall for our country and our flag. All right, Joe, I'm going to start with you. Are you, one, going to be watching tonight, and do you think that ratings are going to be down?
I'm not a huge football fan, so I'm not sure I'll be watching. I have other things to do. But I don't know how ratings will go. I do think it's really inappropriate for the President of the United States to spend so much of his energy and political capital trying to suppress a peaceful protest that the players themselves have said many times is not meant to be disrespectful to the flag, to our troops, or to anyone else. It's just an expression of their concern about, the inequities in society, and in particular, police violence that they feel has targeted their community. I think it's just ridiculous for people to turn this into yet another polarizing issue. Those players are trying to peacefully call attention to their concerns, and I don't see why the president thinks it's such a huge deal for him to capitalize on.
Yeah, we have seen it become quite political, and even sports become so political just in the last decade. But Eric Trump followed suit and tweeted after the Cowboys said that they got the green light to take the knee, and he said, "Football is officially dead. So much for America's sports. Goodbye, NFL. I'm gone." All right, Justin, how about you? Are you going to be watching, and do you think this will affect the ratings overall?
Yeah, I do think it's going to affect the ratings. I'm more of an NBA fan, believe it or not. So I'm more interested in how my Miami Heat are going to be doing this year. But, I think that will affect it because, look, the national anthem, the flag, to many people in many parts of the country, you stand with reverence, you take your hat off, you put your hand on your heart, and you sing the national anthem. And it is absolutely the right of the players to do a peaceful protest as they see fit. And it's absolutely the right of fans who don't want to watch it and don't want to support financially that sport. It's their right to do so as well. So it's a free country. Everyone has a right to free expression, and it absolutely is going to affect their ratings, and it's going to affect the brand image of the NFL, no doubt about it.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting to me, what you just said, Justin, is it used to be if you want to protest, you could go do it. I have a right to see. But now it's gotten to the point where if you don't join the protest, you by default are racist or sexist or whatever the charge is. But it's really gone from freedom of expression that someone can go do what they want, and everyone has the right to do that, to if you don't join in, then there's a problem. But I think the interesting thing that you noted is that you said you were a basketball fan, and there's a poll out that shows how the sports break down. And this is why I think this is a little intriguing in terms of the sports. Basketball actually is dominated by Democrats who watch it, and then football, baseball, hockey, and NASCAR all have a Republican tilt. I've never actually thought about sports from a political standpoint. It was a fascinating thing. But Joe, I'll go back to you. Don't you think, from a rating standpoint, I'm just trying to figure out if that's your majority of people who watch, are you in danger of getting them upset and tuning you out?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that the owners were concerned about this in the beginning. Remember what they did to Colin Kaepernick at the behest of the president and others who at the time wanted to cancel, in fact, anyone who took a knee or showed any kind of protest during the national anthem. Now, as you just complained, I guess people are sanctioned or they get in trouble with some of their fellow players if they don't take a knee, perhaps. But, I think it's time for everybody to lighten up a little bit and let those who want to protest, and those who don't. We ought to have a little more tolerance here. I think the president started this when he demanded that they be fired and the SOBs be kicked off the field and all of that. And, it needs to be toned down. This isn't the way to conduct a debate or a discussion.
Justin, it's interesting, I think, because people who have the view that you expressed, that you need to stand for the flag, that there's reverence, and that there's other ways potentially to protest in a more appropriate way, are now considered racist and marginalized. Do you think, Joe's talking about tolerance. I don't think that there's tolerance for people who don't share this current prevailing attitude.
I couldn't agree with you more. There's massive social pressure on players to conform to this notion that everyone has to kneel. And as you said, Sean, that if you don't kneel, that you're morally a suspect. And that is not the case at all. There needs to be respect for everyone's views. And if someone wants to stand, they should be allowed to stand. And their First Amendment right of expression should be recognized just as much as someone who doesn't. Everyone has the right. And I agree that we do need to have some more tolerance here. But at the same time, look, the president's upset when he sees, he's the commander in chief of our armed forces. And if he's upset about that, because a lot of our American men and women in uniform are all across the world fighting under that flag. So it means more than just a symbol to someone who's our chief commander in chief. And I can understand that from his perspective.
Joe, Justin, thanks for your insights. We'll have to see what happens tonight with opening game. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
All right. Well, Sean and I'll be right back with our thoughts on some of the topics we've covered so far. Don't go away.